Hi, welcome back to my channel. Well, they say that things happen for a reason, and I've had an absolute nightmare of a morning. I videoed a whole piece on this little folio that I'm doing and it didn't record. So I can't even go back and show you how to do things really, because it's already done. But what I will do is I'm going to walk you through anyway what I have done up till now, and there are still pieces that I need to be doing, and I'm literally going to be working on the fly because I've got nothing organised, which is terrific. But we will see how we go. So as you've already seen by the stills that I did, this was literally just a little bit of post that came through. It was a 3-page Christmas hamper leaflet, but it was a really good cardstock, and I thought it would make a lovely little folio. So that's exactly what I've done. So all I did, because it was actually quite a glossy piece, I gessoed over it, and the gesso I use, I will show you, is this one. Really cheap. I think this whole pot, I think it was about a tenner. Not very expensive, but it's actually quite good. But if you need something quite heavy covering, you may need 2 or 3 coats of it, but it does do the job. So I used that, and then all I did was I painted around the edges just using acrylic paint, just to give it a little bit of a border. And then I got started on filling it up with pockets and things. So this is the front page. So I designed the front page just with a little picture and a little girl that I designed, which I've used on tags and things like that. I will be adding some little labels and a couple of bits and pieces, maybe a bit of wording on here as well, to just give it a little bit of extra interest. And then when we go through into the folio itself, there's a little flip. So we've got a pocket on the flip, and in the pocket I've put a journal card in that I did previously. And then as you open it up, I'm sorry if that glares, I've got a little pocket here with an acetate insert, because in here there's a little tag, and I just thought it would be a shame for that to be covered up. So I did the window pocket so that you can see the little girl through the window, which I think is lovely. And then on here we've got a 2-pocket tuck, again little journal card that I've done previously, and another little girl on a tag. And there are finishing bits to do. I haven't finished this by any stretch of the imagination. There's still quite a lot to do. So I'm just talking you through what I've already done, which didn't video. And then if you'd like to stay with me, and I can do some little bits and pieces to add to it. This is a page I am still trying to think what to do with this page at the moment. So we may get around to doing that today. And then we've got another tag here, which is the same as that pocket, but just a different tag. And then as we flip that over, this is going to be the second window pocket, which I will put in here. So I'm going to put that together while you're with me, or hopefully while you're with me, and pop the tag in. And now I've got another little tag in there. So it's all duplicated. It's just the opposite way round. So that's pretty much as far as I've got with this at the moment. So what I'd like to do is just go ahead and start putting some more bits and pieces together. I'm just going to grab some acetate. Bear with me a second. Okay, I had an absolutely disastrous morning. My video didn't video. These flip outs, I didn't glue them into the back, and I had to pull it off and redo that. So maybe actually it's probably a good thing that you weren't here for the first part of the video, because yeah, it was absolutely disastrous, I'm not going to lie. But hey ho, these things are sent to try us. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to cut a little bit of acetate to act as a window here, and I can't remember the measurements, so I'm just going to find my little ruler, and I want it to be about 8 centimeters wide and approximately, I'm going to say 14.5 centimeters in depth. So how deep, how wide is that? And that's wide enough. Although if I go that way, 14.5 centimeters deep is that there, and that will give me that to play with at a later date. And then, sorry, what did I say was the width? Got brain like a sieve. So we've got 8 centimeters. So I need to go 8 centimeters wide there, and that should give me the window for, which is perfect. Yep, that's lovely. Okay, so let's try this one again. The reason I've had to redo this one is because on the first one I did, I got something over the window, and I really don't know what it was, but the more I tried to wipe it off, the worse it got. And I don't know if it's because the cloth I was using was dirty, or whether the print on the whether I had glue on my glue-in book or not. I really don't know what the issue was, but yeah, I had to pull that off and start again as well. So yeah, all in all, it's been a fun morning to contend with, but as I say, these things are sent to try us. So before I go and do anything, I am going to ink that edging, and I also just want to mitre these corners. So we're just going to mitre that off, and mitre that one off, and then we're going to mitre these off. 1, 2, 1, 2. When you're mitring, don't go over that crease there, because you're actually cutting into the pocket itself if you do that. And what should happen is when we fold these over, hopefully, yep, you see they don't cross over, so you're not going to end up with a massive load of bulk there. That one could potentially do with just a tiny little bit more trimming off there, and that's better. That now folds. It's actually not much better. Let me just recut that one. Not got it close enough. That's better. Okay, happy with that. And now I'm just going to ink round this before we glue anything onto it. It's easier to do it when... Oh! God, I'm all fingers and thumbs today. Don't know what's gone wrong. And you know what? I'm just going to check that we are videoing, so just bear with me a second. And we are, thankfully. Moral to the story, always check that your camera's on. I'm just going to ink round these edges, like so. Now then, on the other pocket, I didn't ink inside the aperture, but I think I would have liked to have. I think it would have looked quite nice, but I'm not going to do it on this one purely because I haven't done it on the other one. I don't want them looking odd. So, right then, let's, what I'm going to do now, what did I do with the little bit of acetate? Oh, it's there. God. The trouble is you can't see them. I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the aperture. I think it's called an aperture. I keep calling it an aperture. Somebody's going to say, why'd you call it an aperture? It's not an aperture. But I think it is. Oh gosh, that's all gummed up now as well. Ugh. I think today is almost a write-off, to be fair. Now my glue is completely gummed up. Yay! Come on, glue. Wow, that's really glued up. Ah, there we go. Maybe it wasn't, maybe there was a bit of something on the needle itself. Okay, let's try that one again. So we're going to just glue. We are going to glue, honestly, we are. There we go. Just put a little bit of glue all around the edging. There. And there. I can't believe I did an hour's video and didn't turn the camera on. Or if the camera was turned on, it was it turned itself off. Oh gosh, that's so frustrating. Mind you, I made so many mistakes, it's probably just as well, but at least you would have seen that, that people do make mistakes, and actually mistakes that you make can be rectified, as I did show on the video that didn't video. It's just a little bit too much there. I'm just going to take a little bit of that off. Okie dokie. Let's got a bit of glue in there. That's what I did last time. Okay. Oh dear. Right then, let's just pop that into place. So I'm just going to turn it over and hopefully just mop up these little bits of glue. I really don't want a repeat of what I had last time. Oh, it made a right mess of the acetate. I really don't know how it happened. And the more I tried to clean it off, the worse it got. That's it. Lovely. We got there with it this time, I think. Gosh, please don't make a mess. Don't make it. Oh, it's doing it again. Oh, I don't believe that. It's done exactly the same thing again. How is that working? Wow. Okay, I'm not happy with that again. That's done exactly the same as it did last time. So I'm not going to use that. I'm going to cut another piece. So 8 by 14.5 it was. Let me just cover my glue up while I just cut this piece. 8 by 14.5. It's weird, I don't know how that keeps happening. You need the cleanest of surfaces when you're working with acetate. I'm just going to turn that glue page over again. Make sure that's absolutely clean. And then if I had half a brain, I'd be able to remember my measurements. 8 centimetres that way. Marvellous. Okay, let's try this again, Dawn. Just take that off of there because I don't know if that mat's dirty or not. And thankfully this is all on the inside so you can't see it, which is good. I'm just going to clean that up a bit there. That's a little bit too blobby. That's that one, that's that one. Okay, and then make sure your hands are cleaned on. I'm sorry if you're getting some glare off the acetate. Oh gosh, you have to hold it at a certain angle to be able to see it. Sorry if I'm going silent, but I'm trying to concentrate. Just hoping that bit's not going to show. If I can just pop that over that way more so. There we go. Right, let's hope. Just going to use a clean bit of tissue rather than the kitchen roll. Just press that gently into place and turn it over. Hopefully that's all clean there, which it feels like it is. And I've got a dirty bit there. Oh my god, I don't believe that's happened again. And there was nothing on it. Alright, I'm going to just let that be. Okay, I am going to leave that to dry, and then I'm going to get the tiniest little bit of nail polish remover, and see if I can get that off with a little bit of nail polish remover, just very gently. And in the meantime, is that on the inside or on the outside? It's on the inside. Okay, bear with me folks. I'm just going to go and find some acetate now to do that with, or some acetone rather. Okay, and I'm back. Right, let me see what I can do with this. That's so annoying that it has happened for the third time and I don't know why. Let me see what I can do. I think it was on the inside, wasn't it? How are we going to be? Oh, perfect. There we go. That's got it. That's cleaned it up nicely. Phew. I thought I was going to have to do it again. There we go. Perfect. Oh, I love it when a plan eventually comes together. It's always a good thing, isn't it? Right. Phew. Okay. Save the day. Right, so now I'm going to glue the pocket in. So top tip, tiny little bit of acetone free nail polish remover. It gets off little glue bits off your acetate, which is good to know. Without ruining the acetate, because that was my worry, that if I used nail polish remover, would it melt the acetate as well? Right then, and now we're just going to pop this one in place here. Just going to check distance up there, so that's about there. Maybe there. Okay, just pop that into place there. down a little bit. Get rid of that dirty tissue so we don't have any repercussions. And that's that little window pocket now in place. Tra-la. La. Right then, so while that's drying, I now want to do the back cover. I'm just going to pop that glue shut. Oh, it's a bit gloopy. Just get that off of there. Lovely job. Right then, let me close that up. There. I started using these because I can never get the pins in the end. Right, that's that one done. Right, and I've got this little bit of material, and I have got this little card here. I'd like the material over that way. And I'd like that straight on there. Although I was thinking about using that as a little tuck spot. Maybe I can still do that even with the fabric there. Maybe. Let me just do the corners of this. I'm literally working this on the fly now because up until this point everything was planned out. And then I realised that the video hadn't videoed, and now I'm working a little bit on the fly. So this really is a work in progress that you're joining me for. I nearly broke my thumb then. So we shall see how it goes. But even with the best laid plans, things don't always work out. Okay, that's that little bit done. I like that there. Okay. And then if I'm going to use that as a tuck, am I though? Am I? Do I want to reduce the size of that down a bit? I don't know. Oh, I think yeah, I'm going to glue that on here. I'm just going to put a splodge of glue down there, and then I'm going to put some glue around the edge of here. Would help if I'd actually ironed the material, but hey, who worries about things like that? I want to put a good amount of glue on the edge, because if I'm going to be using the design as a tuck, I need to make sure that this doesn't get in the way. I'm just going to plonk a little bit more glue on there. Right, let's see if this works. Okay, like that there, that there. Just want that on the angle a little bit. Sticky. Okay. And where that glue's just come through, it does dry clear, so you won't be able to see that once it's actually dry. Well, I hope not anyway. You can't usually. And then if I pop that on there, I just glue it on those 3 sides, I've then got a little tuck spot there, which I think should work relatively well. So let's try that. So we're just going to glue around these 3 bits here. And ordinarily I would put a little thumb hole in when I'm doing a tuck spot, but with where the design is, I don't want to cut into this bit here. If it was over here it wouldn't be so much of an issue, but I don't want to put a thumbnail here because that bit of the design is really pretty. So I'll leave that to dry, and again we're going to be adding maybe some wording and some labels on there as well. So that's that little tuck done, and then we want a design to go on the back. And I haven't really thought about what I want on there, so I'm just going to have a look through my little box and see if we've got anything that would. A couple of little envelopes there which I think are very pretty. A couple more little journal cards. Could glue those down and use them like that maybe. Looking for some inspiration, guys, not quite sure. I don't like the blue on there. I think the blue's wrong. That blue's wrong. That green's wrong. It's just all wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. So, what shall we do? Thinking. I think I'll put my glue on there to start with, and then maybe a belly band on the back there would be quite nice. And I need a couple of little inserts in there. Those would be beautiful in there, wouldn't they? Oh, look at that, they're made to fit. A couple of little envelopes in there. Oh, they're cute, I like those. Huh. Well, that's resolved that issue. So those can go in there. And I'll find some little bits to pop in there as well. I need to do something as an insert in there. She's really cute. She could go in there, couldn't she? Pop her in there. Yep, so I'm going to pop her there for now so that I don't forget that's what I'm doing with her. Because I think I'll back her with a little bit of journal card, with a little bit of paper and make that into a journal card. In fact, I'll do that now. And I can put a little tag on there as well. So I'm just going to find some paper to glue her to. Just a little bit of coffee dyed paper, glue book. Okay, and do I want to round her corners? She's going into a rounded thing there, so I think it would be nice to round her corners, but I'm not going to do them quite as big. I'm just going to go for a 7mm round on a corner, and then I shall add her onto there. I'm actually on holiday from work this week, so I'm really enjoying just being in my craft room and just doing stuff for a change without having to worry about what else I should be doing. Okay, scissors. Everything's dropping on the floor. Let me just trim this up. That's that one done. There we go. Lovely. Just I'm just going to pop a little bit of ink around the edge. Sorry if I'm going quiet, I'm just trying to think what else I'm going to be doing with this now that I'm kind of working on the fly a little bit. It's changed the dynamics slightly. Right, that's that bit done. So that little journal card's now ready to slip in. And I just want to add a little tag. I'm just wondering if I've got something that will work. Let me have a look, see what I've already got, or see if I need to cut something. That works quite well, doesn't it? They're a bit too flowery, that's too pink. She probably can't even see, sorry. Oh, blue, would that work? A bit too big. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one because that's quite a nice tone and it goes nicely against there as well. So I'm going to use that one. And for those of you that haven't seen my videos before where I've mentioned about these are literally tabs that I make myself. They're 2-inch squares, and all I do is I've got one of these punches, one of the best things I've ever bought. They're really versatile, and I make all my own tabs with that. I'm just pin these together and I'll show you how I do it. So I literally, it's just a 2-inch square. You fold it in half, and then on this one here, that's the treble flute, you literally just pop it in there so it hits the corners and clip it down. Do that on both sides, one over the other, and then that gives you your little tab there, which is absolutely ideal. It saves you having to spend money on other types of punches, you know, like the whale tail punches that people use. Yeah, it's just a nice way of making your own tabs without having to spend out more money, really. So I'm just going to glue this tab on here. Just going to pop that into position. Preferably somewhere in the middle would be good. About there. That's nice. I really should do that on my glue mats. No wonder I get glue everywhere. And then I'm just going to glue over this one completely, like so, and then just squidge it into place, like so. That's maybe a bit big for her, but I guess it works. It'll do for now. That's nice. Might put a little tag or something on there as well. But she will now sit in there. That looks nice. Okay, so that's that bit done. And then on the back here, I was going to do a belly band, wasn't I? I forgot what I was doing. Now what? Just wondering what paper to use for the belly band. Let me just grab a few and we'll see. I wonder if either of those will work. Let me have a look. So we've got that one. I don't like either of those. That's a bit annoying. I don't like either of those. I wonder if that one will work. I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I'm not really sure that butterfly works with that. It's the wrong green. I don't really like that one either. I think that one works best of all, to be honest. What shall we do? Okay, gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with that one. And what width belly band do we want? I know it needs to be 23 centimetres long, so let me just cut that out, make myself some space. Okay, I'll do this belly band, guys, and then I'm going to call it a day, and then we'll come back on another video and I'll show you the finished product. That's 23 centimetres there. And how big a belly band do we want? Shall we do? I think 5 centimetres is probably a bit big. Three, 4. I think I'm going to try a 4, see what that looks like. So we'll go with a 4. Gosh, that doesn't look very wide, does it? 4 centimetres, what do we think? I'm going to cut another one at 5. That's 5 centimetres. I think that's probably, yeah, I'm happier with the 5 centimetres. Happier with that one. Okie dokie. We're going to go with 5. And then I just want to make sure that I get it central. So I'm just going to mark that there. Maybe so that I can actually see it would be good, wouldn't it? So there. And then 5 there is there. And if you're not too particular, guys, you can always eyeball things, but I like to, that looks nice actually, I like that. So I'm just going to ink that round. And then for today, we will call it a day. I'm really sorry you didn't get to see the rest of the video. Hopefully it's a mistake that won't happen again, because that's very frustrating. An hour's work completely lost. But hey ho, mustn't grumble. Let's just put that along there. 1 and 2. Lovely jubbly. Just want to find those little marks. Just want to make sure that gets lined up relatively well, like so. Perfect. And that's that little belly band done. Smashing. Okay, so just a little walkthrough for those of you that came in late or didn't. So we've got the front cover, it's all done, just a few little more embellishments on there, maybe a little label and a little bit of wording, and then we flip over to the inside where we've got a journal card in the pockets. Might just do a little bit of something up there, and then we've got, forgive the glare of the window, but we've got a window pocket with the tag. We've got a tag in there, we've got a journal card in there, we've got a couple of little envelopes sitting in the top there, and I need to find something to go in the bottom pocket still, excuse me. I might just do a little design across the pockets as well. And then we've got the journal card in the pocket there, we've got the second window envelope there, and I will just, where is the, I thought I had a tag to go in there. I shall find that shortly. Oh, there she is. I'll pop that in there now. Oh, might need to glue that little bit of fabric down. There we go. Little girl's in her house, so that's that bit done. And then we've got a journal card there, and then on the back we have got the little slip out there, and then we've got on the very back we've got the little belly band, which I need to do a little journal card for that as well. And that's as far as we've got just now. So thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all again. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Your support would be extremely appreciated. Love to have you all, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye.